All right, and welcome to yet another episode of the Women's Cricket Podcast, a show where we talk about all things women's cricket. And it took us about 30 odd episodes to get us our first guest. And as the cliche goes in cricket, one brings two. We've already got in our second. Hopefully, we'll get a lot more going forward. But we are pleased to have Sharadha Sridharan joining us. And for a change, I thought I'd let Neha do the honors of introducing her.
Yeah, Akshay, really happy to have Sharadha here. I think her resume CV literally speaks for itself, has done a world of good, for a lot of aspiring cricketers, as a coach herself, dabbles with a little bit of commentary, and just the kind of work she's doing, in media right now is very, very commendable. So, Sharadha, thank you so much for joining us. And when Akshay and I were actually thinking of this topic as well, off record, I was mentioning, right, that, just the whole fact that we have so many all rounders in women's cricket. It's a topic that has intrigued us a lot, although it's, not backed by any stat or so, but, it's just piqued our curiosity a lot. And we couldn't think of a better guest than you to, sort of just dig deep into your brains and get all the understanding from a very coaching perspective. So, welcome on the show.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you so much, Akshay, and thank you so much, Neha, for the wonderful introduction. Thank you so much for having me here. It's always been a pleasure speaking and discussing women's cricket with the fanatics, the people who follow the game, content creators, who not. So thank you so much. Really happy to be here.
Thank you. And guys, by the way, please do check out Sharadha's Instagram page as well, and YouTube link will be in the description. Do give that a check, and please do follow her too. Sorry, Sharadha, you were saying.
Thank you so much, Akshay. So, just starting off with the all-rounders. So that's a very nice observation, I would say, Neha, Akshay. What happens is that cricket nowadays, it has become extremely competitive, especially in the beginners level. So, if you are a cricketer, upcoming cricketer, like you are at the under 15 or the the under 16 when it comes to boys, or even the under 19 levels. So, all it the advice that goes to the cricketers is that you try and master as many skills as possible. So this advice goes out especially cricketers in the under 15 level, because they are very young kids, are really adaptable, and they can learn a lot of things quickly as well. So at the under 15 level, you can see a lot of people, top order batters. They can bowl little bit leg spin, they can bowl medium pace, they can keep wickets as well, all those things. So that's how it starts. And once the cricket really gets competitive, so when you are asked to attend the selections for a state level, for a district, it's always best to have two skills at the the formative stages. Because for example, if you are a top order bat and a medium pacer, so even if you have a bad day or an off day with the bat, then you can always come back and change your day completely with the ball as well. So if you don't score runs, or if you get out for a boundary 2 or 3 runs, and if you pick up 3-4 wickets, no one is going to talk about the runs that you didn't score. Everyone is going to be talking about the wickets. So basically it's a confidence factor as well. And of course, selection wise, it also helps the cricketers, so that even if they don't bat, the selectors consider that okay, they can be handy with the ball as well. The same goes with the bowlers. So if you start off as a pure bowler, then even a little bit of batting, for example, you bat in the lower order, and suddenly you get a chance, you get your team comes to 200 for 8 in 40 overs, then you have 10 overs in hand, then you have to hang out with the lower middle order bat. So you need to know the basics. So that is the actual time when learning and learning many skills and trying to master many skills, multiple skills, comes into use. So a couple of things to sum it up. One is that at the young stage, kids have a lot of potential to try out different things. They have the freedom, and they can adapt really quickly. They can learn very fast when compared to cricketers at the senior level. And the second thing is, of course, the competition. We have to be realistic. So a cricketer always has or starts off with a dream to play either for the state or the district, whatever it is, or even for the country. So to get into the scheme of things, being an all-rounder always helps with the confidence factor.
I mean, those are very valid points, Shada, in terms of all rounders. And there's a reason why all rounders are so revered when it comes to cricket, not just women's cricket, across genders. When you look at it, Ellyse Perry, Marizan Kaab, there's Annabel Sutherland who's up and coming over here. Or when you look at the men's side of things, there's a reason why Indian cricket fans go gaga over some new pace bowling all rounder that comes in. Oh, Nitish Kumar Reddy is the new talk of the town and all of it. There's a reason why we want to see more of them. Which is why it's very surprising when you look at how all rounders function in, say, men's cricket and the way they function in women's cricket. Fortunately or unfortunately for most of us, we've grown up watching more of men's cricket. So all of our understanding of the sport itself comes from that. And over time, you started watching women's cricket, once it got more recognition, more eyeballs, and that's when you shifted your gaze. Which is why this question actually stems, because in men's cricket, you more often than not see more specialists. And that trend has only increased in the last few years with the impact play rule and whatnot. How do you think has that change not happened, or rather, why do you think that change hasn't happened in women's cricket? Why are there so genuine all-rounders? When I say genuine, an Ellyse Perry can make it to her side both as a bowler and a batter. A Marizan Kaab both as a bowler and a batter. Closer home, think of Deepti Sharma, think of Pooja Vasrikar. All of these are players who can do on in both departments or get into their sides in both departments. This isn't something we see often in men's cricket. Like, fundamentally, what do you think? To start off the conversation, what do you think is the difference there?
See, when it comes to men's cricket, at the junior level that I was talking about, even today at the under 16 level, there are very few kids who are specialized in one thing. If they are a top order bat or an opener, they also bowl the occasional leg spinners, the occasional off spinners, or if they don't bowl, they at least keep wickets. That's how the training is going on right now. And once the player starts to get older, physically and mentally, also technically, strategically, they get to realize what their actual strengths are. So this finding out or mapping out of the actual strength happens around the age of 19 or 20, when they are physically and mentally mature. So at that point, if a cricketer, whether be it a male or a female, feel that they will be better off as a bat, or they will be better off as a bowler, specialized bowler who can bat, or a batter who can bowl. That is the time when you can actually make a decision. So when it comes to men's cricket, I think the specialization, the skill specialization happens a little early due to the higher levels of competition. So at the age of 17 or 18, men cricketers would have played a lot more matches, multi-day, be it multi-day matches, be it one day, be it T20, whatever it is. So they would have gotten a lot of exposure, and by the time they would have figured out what works better for them. Injury wise, body wise, also I am saying. So many cricketers, especially male cricketers, I know they started out as all-rounders, pulling medium pace and being a top order bat. But then when they come to this age, the workload is so much that only a few can come out as proper all-rounders. So at this age, when they have played at least 50 to 60 matches, that is huge when compared to women cricketers at this level. So then they have the maturity, or they go back to their coaches. The coaches, guide them as to what could be a better option, so that they've managed their workload accordingly. Because that is the age where you peak. So I think that is the actual difference when it comes to all-rounders and specialist players in men's versus women's cricket. Women, on the other hand, they would have played comparatively less matches at that 16, 17 odd age, and once they cross the under 19 level, or at least they get exposed around 18, 19, that is the crucial age for them physically, or that is the age they get actual exposure to the senior level of cricket happening. So then they can take a call. And physically also, if you are having some trouble with your body, managing fast bowling and being a top order bat, then many of them go to spin, or many of them become more of a batter, and then they reduce the workload. So if, for example, say you're an opener and you had been bowling 8 to 9 overs in a one day game, then due to your physical conditions, the batting still can happen, but the bowling workload gets reduced to 6 or 5 overs, and you become a bowler who can just get through the innings. So that's how your role changes. So that's what I feel.
And I think Sharda, it's very interesting you sort of bring this point up, because I've read a lot of player interviews, having done it myself, to just interactions with players, where they mention that they have coaches who sort of put them in boxes, like, hey, you should probably just be a batter or a bowler. But now probably with the emergence of franchise leagues, you see a lot of players wanting to don the role of both a batter and bowler, because it just gives them that sort of an opportunity as well. So again, like, what are your thoughts on this for you as a coach too? When you are training players, do you allow them to hone both their skills equally and see where it sort of takes them?
Absolutely, absolutely. So, especially at the beginner level, as I said, if it's a 13-year-old or a 14-year-old cricketer comes to me, I want them to try as many options as they can. They want to bowl off spin, fine, leg spin, fine, medium pace, fine. Work on their batting. That is also fine with me, because only by trying out multiple options, you get to know what you can actually, or you can be actually good at. So it's always a great thing to have. See, as I said earlier, in a match, if your bat does not talk, you can always talk with the ball in your hand. So that's a confidence factor for you as a cricketer, because if you do well in one aspect of your game. See, for example, in the first innings of a game, you get to bowl, you pick up 3 wickets. You are high on confidence, and that confidence translates into your batting as well. So, no harm absolutely in having multiple skills at the beginners level. I would definitely encourage the cricketers. Going more into seriously into the under 19 levels is where physically, as I said, all those aspects can play a huge role in selecting what they actually want to do. But yes, selection wise, the competition is so huge, is so intense right now that having two skills to do is not a bad option.
It actually reminds me of my own days, because as a 10-year-old kid, when I was playing for my school, I remember the first year I played, I was a wicket keeper. The second year, I was a medium pacer. And the third year, I was a leg spinner. Just random, because why not? And there was no one telling me, okay, you know what, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that. And I do agree. In some sense, it's actually important for everyone to, try their hand at everything, because only then will you know what works, what doesn't.
At a very young age, you are open, and your body will also be open to try. As a 13, 14, 15 year old, you can try many options. That's not harmful at all. So the 18, 19 is where, or the 17, 18, if you are a premium fast bowler and you are unable to manage the workload, then you focus on fast bowling. So that is where all these factors play a huge role. Or if you are a top order bat and focusing on bowling is not really helping your cause, then you can trim one aspect down and focus on the other aspect.
Shardha, on this itself, when it comes to training, sure, you can train as hard as you want, but how much of being an all-rounder comes down to training versus, say, natural ability? Because a certain set of players, they're called natural all-rounders, genuine athletes and whatnot, and it comes a lot more naturally to them, because you spoke about workload as well, and that's something we will touch upon in a bit too. But yeah, natural ability versus training, how, which plays a bigger role, and why do you think so?
I think it's a mix of both. See, there would be some players, for example, we can see Radha Yadav, or Jemima Rodriguez, to understand better. They are naturally very, very athletic, and that really gives them an edge when it comes to running between the wickets, fielding, throwing, catching, all of those things. But there is a different type of player as well. Someone like a Shefali Verma, who goes hard but does not have the natural athletic ability. So those type of players need to train harder, because you are competing at the highest level, and to be, not even if you are not on par, but to be at least attempt to be on par with those type of cricketers, you need to train as well. Of course, natural athletic ability helps, but not everyone has that natural athletic ability. And cricket, you train more on based on your role. So that's what I said. So all rounders, whatever your role is going to be in a match. So if you're predominantly a batter, then you need to work on certain aspects. If you're a bowler, fast bowler, then certain aspects. Then spinner, different for a wicket keeper. So it all comes down to the role you specifically play in a game. So yes, natural ability helps, really helps, but not everyone is gifted with that. So the others need to train, harder to at least match up to what is expected of them in that particular.
And probably even closer home, Shada, like we have observed, I think, for the longest time that Team India, right, has struggled for this sort of a pace bowling all rounder, someone who can constantly deliver. We've come close with, say, someone like a Pooja Vastakar or an Arundhati Reddy, right? But again, injuries continue to sort of plague them. Like, how do you look at this aspect? Do you think that India is not just producing enough quality pace bowling all rounders, or it just boils down to, not nurturing or grooming them enough, and then, just it not working out well?
I think coming to the grooming aspect, there are a lot of camps happening at the NCA. So if you know, there are a lot of camps happening for specifically targeted fast bowlers at under 19, under 23, and also certain specific bowlers are being constantly trained. So it's not that we are not able to groom. The grooming is happening definitely behind the scenes. I think it's just unfortunate, for Team India because we have been heavily banking on Pooja Vastrakar. She has not been able to, be a constant for Team India and also Renuka Singh. So, even if not the pace, even if Renuka does not have the pace that Pooja has been providing, she, usually has this natural ability to swing the ball. So it is extremely unfortunate for India that both these bowlers have been, injured and they haven't been in action for a very long time. But we also come up with certain players. For now, Krantik God, I see, seems to be a really really exciting talent. So we have also have Sayali in the the India A squad, who seems to be a really promising upcoming cricketer, and we have Arundhati Reddy as well, who has been able to deliver with her slower balls, bowling at the death, and also more importantly, bowling to her feet. So yes, fast bowling has not been India's strength. We have been a spin dominant bowling attack, but a lot of work is happening, and we definitely will see a lot more young pacers coming up, in the next 2 to 3 years.
How much of it do you think is just the conditions that are available in India? Because in India, the Indian subcontinent has historically been a spin friendly or has offered spin friendly surfaces. Do you think it's just that, or is the issue a lot more deep rooted? Players or kids not bowling or taking to pace bowling a lot more than, say, spinners or something like that?
See, it's I wouldn't say that it's the condition. See, if you see the NCA new facility that has been constructed and inaugurated recently in Bangalore, it has simulations exactly to the conditions of England and Australia. So there are a lot of wickets that has grass on it. There are a lot of open wickets that have grass on it that are dry. Which from which you can create actually the simulations that you want. That's why you see the Indian men's team and the women's team performing a lot better, in countries like England. So that is the reason. So the facilities are definitely available. That is for sure. So I would say that fast bowling is something that depends a lot on your fitness and your biological abilities as well. It's not very easy for a fast bowler. See, because there is a fact that once the fast bowler gets into the delivery stride and 10 times of their body weight almost comes through. I'm not sure about the number. I think it's 7 or 10. So, it's not a very, very easy task to do. So, young bowlers, when they come in, they just bowl what they know. And, due to lack of guidance at the young level, a lot of them just get injured. And, from there on, they don't know how to take it. So, but once you are in the state camp or in the vicinity of a state team, then you get the right guidance on your action aspects, like your alignment, your workload management, all those things. So it all boils down to injury, and I would say physical abilities. uh, so I think, but we are getting there, I feel. So it might have been different in the past, but we are getting there with the right type of guidance, and also with all the analysis and the top notch technologies helping the coaches. I think I would say we are on par.
And I think you brought in a lot of interesting points here, Shata. But the one question that's kind of lingering in my mind is when we just look at the whole aspect of all rounders itself. Do you think there's a gendered angle to it? Because see, in men's cricket we see how all rounders are used very differently, but in women's cricket you see them sort of carry on like a lot of frontline duties, right? You look at the likes of Nat Sciver-Brunt, or you have someone like a Marizan Cup. You just see how much responsibility they have. So do you just somewhere think that kind of increases the pressure on them very disproportionately, as opposed to say men's cricket, making them prone more to injuries?
Yes, totally. See, and we spoke about a lot about the physical factors. Men and women are completely different biologically. So, some actions or some attributes of fast bowling might not suit women cricketers. For example, a side-on action might be good for men cricketers, but when it comes to women's cricket, the risk of injuries is a lot more. So there are a lot of differences, when it comes to that. So you're talking about Natsivar Brunt, Marizan Cap. I think I would go a little bit in deeper because players like Natsivar Brunt, Ellyse Perry, Marizan Cap, premium all-rounders, they have been the flag bearers of their countries. Like Perry has, you know, Perry has carried the burden of, being Australia's top-notch all-rounder for more than a decade right now. So, definitely that would add, a lot of pressure as well. And Marizan Cap, who has been so experienced, so even now, even if the top order fails, they turn to Marizan Cap. Marizan Cap is one of the most bankable players in the South African side, and of course with the transition going on in the England women's team. So Natsivar Brunt seems like the only player who is real experience, like far ahead when it comes to the other all-rounders of the team. So I wouldn't say just the workload or the physical thing. I would say that it's a lot more based on what stages that particular team is.
Sticking to the workload bit itself, Sharda, like when I look at it, I've always imagined that women's cricket, in some sense, is about 2 decades behind men's cricket. The way they function, that is, some of the trends that you see, it trickles down from the men's cricket simply because it's a far more evolved sport. It started earlier, it was being played competitively a lot more earlier. Now, one thing that comes to mind when it comes to workload management, if you go back to the early 2000s, men's cricket wasn't seeing so many international games, at least not to the level that we're seeing now. Firstly, that. Secondly, the use of part timers, it's almost become obsolete now. The way part timers used to operate, like you think of the Indian team, Sehwag, Ganguly, Tendulkar, to some extent, you can call Yuvraj Singh also if you want, like if not an all round, at least the part timer. All of them used to bowl. Not so much the case now. So do you see that also playing a role? Them not having to play enough matches right now, and once that also goes up, then probably this could the trend of all rounders might also see a downward curve.
I don't see that happening anytime soon when it comes to women's cricket because we are yet to evolve to that level. So it depends a lot on the strategy as well. So if see, for example, if we are playing a 50-over game, then it all boils down to the conditions that 11 that is going to play on that particular day. So you might go in with five specialist bowlers, and you think someone like Pratika Rawal or even a Jamima just bowling 1 or 2 overs here and there. So men's cricket has become completely different. So I would say that the part-time role of the part-time bowlers has become very very less right now because the frontline bowlers are just giving the breakthroughs. So, in women's cricket, I think, we need some more time to reach to that level. So, we will keep playing with the traditional way. I mean, going with five frontline bowlers and, bowler number six who will be playing as an all-rounder. So, just boils down to that particular day, the team combination, and the situation that we are. Simple.
And even with India's squad being announced for the ODI World Cup, Shraddha, like what have you made of it? We obviously see the presence of so many all-rounders. You have Radha Yadav, you have Sneh Rana, Deepti Sharma, you have Arundhati Reddy, and everyone. Probably for India, the cause for concern, the bowl of contention has been that sixth bowling option as well. So again, just the presence of these all-rounders, do you look at them as being the spine of the team rather than actually using them as that sort of a luxury?
Yeah, see, again, yes, of course, Deepti Sharma is definitely going to be, the spine of your bowling attack when it comes to spinners because she has delivered for Team India in the past. But, you cannot say the same about, your second or the third off spinner because it again boils down to the opponents that you are playing against. See, for example, if you are playing Sri Lanka, Sri Lanka compared to England are better players of spin. Asian countries play spin better. So at that time, you might want to go in with an extra fast bowler. Or if you are playing on a track which has a green, it is a green track. You might as well play an extra frontline seaming option and go in with one spinner less. So you yes. We are going to be spin heavy. There are no doubts in that. But again, the venue and the opponents, that plays a huge role in determining the team composition.
It's actually interesting you mentioned these points because a theory that I've always had in my head is when it comes to making that leap, from youngster, from an age group level to say professional level, bowlers find it easier than batters. This has been my theory. The reason for that is with batters or with batting, there are specific skills you need. Your hand-eye coordination, your reflexes, they have to be there. With bowlers, hard length is hard length irrespective of whether you're 19 or 21. You just have to keep bowling the same thing, which is why I personally have always been of the opinion that making that jump is so much more easier for bowlers compared to batters. Again, that does not mean it's easy. But Sharda, when it comes to all-rounders, then how do you look at that? Making the leap from an age group level to a high level, because you earlier also mentioned that a lot of these players, R. Ashwin comes to mind, started off as an opening bat for Tamil Nadu under 19. Steve Smith comes to mind, started off as a leg spinner. And on the other hand, there are examples of the other kind as well, where you said, it also is based on demand. If you see something is rare, then you probably want to just go and try that out because you have a better shot at doing well. Jitesh Sharma comes to mind in a recent interview about like right after the IPL. He spoke about how the first time he went for his state trials, he just enrolled himself as a wicket keeper because there was only one name there. There were more than 20 names in every other department. He was like, okay, you know what? I have my best shot at becoming a wicket keeper because that's the only way I can get into the side. So knowing all these factors, sometimes cricket is so weird, right? Like we try to intellectualize everything, but then there's so many other factors at play here.
Yeah, totally. You spoke about the transition of batting versus bowling, which is a very interesting point. See, batting is a reactive skill. I would call it that way because you react to what the bowler is bowling at you. So it's a variable. So something that is coming to you is a variable skill. So if the ball is out swinging, this ball is swinging away from you, swinging out, then you need to have a different skill set. The ball is coming into you, then you need to have a different skill set. And if the ball is spinning, then you need to get your footwork going and all those things. So you need to make decisions in a fraction of a second based on it's just reacting to what the bowler is bowling at you. So batting is yes, you are right, batters do find it difficult. There are a lot more biomechanics involved when it comes to batting, because you have to quickly make a decision whether to go for the shot or not. So bowler, when it of course, you can always at the last minute till look at the stance of the batter, then try out some variations. But the angle that you bowl in and the plan is almost going to be the same. So that's why bowlers find it a little easier compared to the batters.
And Shraddha, even just with the emergence, right, of a lot of state leagues, you also have the WPL, which is soon going to, touch its fourth edition. So, where do you think leagues like this are also becoming some sort of, true incubators for all of these all-rounders? They're exposed to pressure scenarios all the time. There's just exposure, you're rubbing shoulders with some of the toughest players in the game, and just even the rapid development aspect that you see, right? It's unmatched when you look at domestic cricket. So, do you see the role of these leagues also, sort of accelerating and ensuring we just get a lot more all rounders?
100%. Nothing beats match practice period, and nothing beats matches played under pressure period. So that's something that is very very important to keep producing quality cricketers. If you see the domestic structure of Australia, who has if a Perry gets injured, you already have so many all rounders coming in. You don't see a dearth of talent over there. That's because their WBBL and their domestic structure paving the way for cricketers to come through. So it's very important to have leagues. It exposes players to pressure scenarios, as you rightly put. You might have a Kiran Navgire, being in a situation where she needs 40 to win off the last 4 overs, and if she does that successfully, she carries that skill set and that temperament into WPL and eventually for Team India as well. And sharing the room, just sharing the dressing room with experienced cricketers, it really works magic. It really works wonders for the young cricketers. So I have really heard a lot of stories from cricketers who have learned so much just by observing the way Ellyse Perry trains, by just seeing the way the players handle their nutrition, just seeing the way they practice. You just get to interact with them. You just get to learn a lot of skills from them. That is immense. And of course, the local leagues play a very very important role in producing quality cricketers.
I don't think India is behind on skills at all. It's more of a mental thing where they have to just get ahead of them. I mean, get ahead of that, and then hopefully, yeah, we will see the performance also reflect that in the near future, if not very far along. But Sharda, talking about this itself, when it comes to age group cricket, you earlier mentioned about how it is important at the beginning for kids to just be given the freedom to try and explore, just see what works for you, what doesn't. But at what age then you as a coach start realizing, okay, you know what, this is what they're good at, and this is probably not something they need to be focusing on, and then try sort of narrowing down their options so that they are now more focused in their approach.
I would say 17 or 18 is a good age to actually get in detail and analyze what they're actually good at. And also, I would say rather than analyzing as a coach, I would want to have a chat with the player themselves. They are the best judge. They know their body in and out. And compared to a 13-year-old, an 18-year-old would have better maturity, and they would have played comparatively a lot more cricket. So I think just have a chat with the player, or tell them that you can just tell them your observations, and get to know what they actually think, because it's going to be them who are going to be playing, so their important opinion is going to be most important. So at that age, you can just guide them and make them into whatever the particular skill, the specialized skill that they would want to focus on.
Definitely. And Sharda, sure, at the age of 17, 18 is when you say that you can start focusing on certain skills as a kid at least. But of late, especially in the last 10, 15 years, we've seen the proliferation of focusing on specialists rather than generalists. Either stick to batting or stick to bowling. Especially again, this is stemming from boys cricket, men's cricket, because a lot of that was being focused upon in the last. I mean, over the last decade or so is when we've seen the sort of rise and prominence of men's cricket. But why do you think that happened? Because I remember a lot of scouts talking about, at these coaching academies, kids are divided into batters and bowlers. Batters need to bat, bowlers need to bowl. Once they're done with their routines, they go back home. So why do you think has that sort of become the norm over here, especially in India?
I think, what age group are you talking about?
Kids at the yeah, again, this is from the kids like 11, 12, 13, from that age group itself.
Okay, so I would say that since they are at the beginners level, I think most of them would be want to focus on one particular thing at one go. So, for example, it might be difficult for children of those ages, especially the ones who are just starting off, to focus on two things. So that might be one of the reasons for them to just be divided into bowlers or batters, or they would have just conducted some open sessions, selections as well, to see at this stage what the kid is capable of, and then they might plan to build on it. But this is a little surprising that I am hearing it, because once the kids get comfortable, I think, in my opinion, at least till the 15 or 16 years of age, they should be left to explore. So that's my take.
So at the ground level, Sharda, like when you are at the academy coaching yourself, how do you then, look at the kids? For instance, let's say you've got a batch of 30. how do you go about training them on a day-to-day basis? Like what do you focus on? Where are the areas where you give them freedom, and where are the areas where you specifically tell them, okay, this is how you need to go about it?
Yeah, see, first of all, a batch of 30 is, immense for huge for one person to handle. So there will be multiple, at least two or three people looking at it. So, for example, if I'm looking at, the batters for that particular day, so their first skill would be to bat. So primarily they will be batting, for 35, 40 minutes, and then, they would be called into bowl. So my focus in that 40 minutes would be just to observe, again, it comes to boils down to which stage of the season we are in. So if we are in the off season, at least 4 months away from the game, then, focusing on technique will be one of the primary aspects. Just see if, the basics, the setup of that particular batter is good, or if they are, facing any difficulty, and why is that happening. So that would be, my first thing to notice. And then moving on into the season, the focus on technique will reduce, the focus on tactics will increase, with their using their limitations, what are their areas of scoring, which areas can they score by, just seeing their setup, what are the shots that they can master. So I'll be thinking on those lines. And, the closer you get just the in season, it will just be math simulation. So that is just an example that I am giving you. If I am, a batting coach of that particular academy, and this is how I will look. The same thing. So for bowlers, if you take fast bowlers again, off season would be, focus on some. I will break down the breakdown the stages process for a fast bowler. You have the run up. You have the, the jump and gather, the loading again, you have the delivery stride, and then you have the follow through. So, just divide them into stages, and, you can just focus on one particular aspect on a day. This is for off season. And whether, if they are improving or if they're not improving, just work with their limitations, into pre-season. And then in the season, I'll be working more with them tactically in terms of what they feel set. They'll be having what plans do they have. If you're a fast bowler, what will be the areas you are going to be bowling with a new ball. If you're bowling with a semi-new ball, what will be the areas? And if you're bowling with an old ball in the death overs, what is going to be your plan and the field set? And I will give them, simulations as well, just to, see how well they are adapting. Just for example, just defend 10 runs in this over. You have four fielders outside. You tell me the field and you tell me the areas where you'll bowl, and see if they're able to execute. That's for bowlers.
And here's where Shadha, I'm actually a little curious about just the proliferation, right, of data analytics and just tech in women's cricket. Like, is there a way where they actually track, like, all rounders, just the kind of workload that they're going through? Or are we still, applying like specialist models to them, looking at, both the skills in isolation?
So, till you come to the academy or the state level, of course, there is not much organized data available. But once you are in the state circuit, whether you are a part of the state team in any category, or if you are a part of the probables, then, based upon how you are doing at the camp, there are reports that are being generated on each and every player. So you actually also you have an analyst nowadays traveling with every team, irrespective of whether it's men, women. So you have the videos, you have all the I would say statistics of a player, all videos from 2 to 3 different angles, videos of them in nets, videos of them in matches. So you definitely have all the data available if you want to track one particular player. And it's again, I would say, for all rounders, yes, we do categorize them into, all rounders, or if they are batter, wicket keepers, or, bowlers. And then, we would focus, if for example they are a batter and a wicket keeper, but they bowl, we focus more on, their role of a batter. We would not, look much into their bowling videos. And if it's a bowler, and the same goes, they are a frontline bowler, then, we just tend to look a less more at their batting videos, and tend to focus more on the bowling videos. But when it comes to all-rounders who are going to be very crucial for the team, with, the bat and the ball, of course, we do look in detail for their stats and their videos of batting and bowling as well, because, they are going to be contributing for the team in both these aspects.
Shada, to a fair extent, now we've established that, if we had to sort of come up with the blueprint of how to develop all rounders, first thing is give them the freedom as kids. They don't need to be told what they need to do. At a certain age, say 17, 18 for girls, you then start narrowing it down to, what they're good at, where do you think would they add best value to the side. But what about players who've started off as specialists? Let's say if there's a batter who's just, reached the levels of professional cricket with just batting alone. And now is when you realize, okay, you know what, this is not cutting it. I cannot, be in the side just by my batting alone. I need to add another skill. How difficult do you think is it for professional cricketers to add a skill? The reason I ask this is also, now look at the Indian team. A common criticism of it is the fact that none of their top six bowl. Now all of a sudden, if I say want a Smriti to become a part-timer, or Jemmy to just continue bowling, how difficult is it at that level to now start all of a sudden?
It's extremely difficult, and I don't think the coaches over there will also advise them to do that, because they have trained to bat all their life, and their body, they're physically also trained to just bat, and to add a new skill at that level would be extremely difficult. For for just to have fun, they can roll their arm over in a match. That's a dead rubber. For sure you're you are going to win, or if it's test cricket, the match is just going to draw. At that time you can just have fun by bowl, because your body is not adapted to bowl or to do a skill after a particular period of time. That's why I said initially that till the age of 14, 15, your body will be flexible and you can learn and adapt a new skill. But beyond the point, and they are professional cricketers, they are playing at the highest level, so it makes no sense for them to just learn something else that is completely different to their mind and body, and just try and specialize in that. So at that level is definitely not going to work. It's rather going to be extremely challenging. I don't think no one would want to do that.
And tying this back to the earlier chat we had about, batters or bowlers who find it difficult to make that jump. Similarly, do you think, if you're just thinking out loud, wouldn't it be easier for batters to learn a new skill rather than expecting bowlers to bat? Because we've already, again, spoken about the fact that batting at the highest level is more difficult, or making that jump is more difficult. So then, is there any merit in, at least batters rolling their arm over at the nets, and then probably if you see any merit, then maybe you can focus on it?
I think I've seen bowlers who can just clear their front leg and just give a whack of just whack it out of the ground. So see, the best thing about batters bowling and bowlers batting is that, see, imagine that I'm a frontline fast bowler, and when I am bowling, I am under pressure, because that is my primary skill, and picking wickets, giving breakthroughs to the team is what I'm expected of. But when it comes to batting, no one is expecting anything out of me. So even if I get 10 runs for the team, that's a bonus. So there is no pressure on me as a batter. So I can just go out there, have a blast, just swing around. If it hits, it hits. If it doesn't, hit, then fine, be it. And same thing for a batter as well. So they are under pressure when it comes to their primary skill. But when it's bowling, it's just that bowlers aren't getting it. So let me just try one over. Like we have seen Sachin Tendulkar, we have seen Saurav Ganguly, we've seen even Kedar Jadhav, even Smriti, bowling and getting it. So it's just that aspect of just having fun. See if I'm trying to if I'm able to do something. So I wouldn't say that it's easier for batters to bowl or bowlers to bat. It's just that the concept of not having pressure, not the pressure of expectation is not there when you're doing a different skill. So if a Smriti is going to bowl, you're not expecting her to get 5 wickets or 3 wickets. It's just that that actually helps. And if you're expecting Renuka Singh Thakur to score 50, that 100, that might not happen. It's just that she can just enjoy and make the best of it, out of it. That's the actual concept behind that, I would say.
In fact, as we talk now, with the Australia A versus India A match that's going on, India was in a very precarious condition at 93 for 5. But we actually saw such lovely contributions coming in from India's lower middle order, which has been the cornerstone. Even Joshita, getting a half century, which I'm sure will make Akshay really, really happy as well. But it's nice to see, bowlers also just chip in a little with the bat there. But Shraddha, here, do you think this argument has the merit that somewhere, cricketing boards themselves can actually incentivize all-rounders development? Like they can actually do this explicitly, maybe, through the central contracts that are weighed differently for all-rounders as opposed to specialists as well? Or do you think this is way too far-fetched and difficult to, actually execute?
I think it's very, it's difficult to execute at this moment. We don't have any governing body, any cricketing body in the world that is, making grades based on, that particular skill. I think it's all boils down to, the commercials, the revenue, and the number of matches that you play, and of course, your presence in the team. So, if you are a regular in the team, you get something out of it. You are a non-regular, then there is a proportional decrease in your compensation. So I think that's too far fetched, and it's difficult. It would be very difficult to actually quantify it or even measure it. I would say, yeah.
So, Shada, again, if you had the opportunity of then coming up with some sort of a system or a structure, let's say you've been tasked with developing all rounders. India is facing a dearth of all rounders. Now we need to come up with you at least in 10 years. Of course, nothing will happen overnight. We can't find one next month. What do you think would be the ideal structure, like from a governing body lens? How do they go about it? What do you think is the best way of taking care of all rounders?
So definitely, it all boils down to the grassroots cricket. I would say. So I would actually dig a lot in detail for at the under 15 level and the under 19 levels, which actually form the basement of all the international team, the A teams or whatever it is. So by following the under 15 levels, actually you can take few cricketers who do you think can actually make it to the next level. So for example, if I'm picking 30 potential all-rounders so who are able to bat or bowl, I would definitely not just make a decision by seeing the scorecard, by actually watching the matches. See, for example, sometimes the scorecard might not depict what a player is actually capable of. For example, we had one player, in our under 15 team. She's still there in the under 15 team. So she is someone who is not scared at all. So she does not have any inhibitions. She hits the first ball over the bowler's head. That's her style of play. And sometimes she might score, sometimes she might not score, but all that matters is the intent. So you go around, watch a lot of cricket, you pick a pool of cricketers, 25, 30 capable cricketers from all across the country, then have specialized camps for them in for one particular age category, so that once your under 19s move out of the under 19, you have the under 15s coming in, and then the under 19s can move into the 23, and the 23 they can make it to the India A team. So the India A team should tour consistently, and I will also ensure that the all rounders, especially at the 19 and 23 level, get at least an exposure of working or touring with the India A team. So that is the only way that actually can help in producing a lot of quality all rounders in the next 3 to 5 years. And just mm, by letting them play a lot more open wicket practice, intra squad games, if possible, they can play. You have a lot of scope. You have people from other countries coming and training in here. So a lot of cross functional things would also, arrangements would also work. But you need to have one crop of players from each age category. Who do you think have the potential to go to the next level, so that the players keep coming? So from 23 you go to India A, and 19 comes to 23. So 15 comes to 19, and it just keeps going on.
And last few questions, Sharda. Thank you so much. It's by the way been a very insightful conversation. And folks, all of you also, please make sure you hit the like button if you haven't already. We've been so engrossed, we've forgotten to do our CTs. Please do that. Please comment as well. What have you made of it? What are your thoughts on all rounders and their existence, of course, in women's cricket? Firstly, Sharda, about injuries itself, because we've seen that with all rounders, the workload is almost 2x. So, given that, as a coach of a professional side, you not only have to manage the player and their injury, how do you then sort of marry it with the tactical side of things? Let's say a Sciver-Brunt, she is very integral to a side. So everything, when you plan your side, when you plan how you want to play tactically and all of it, is based on the fact that she will give you 4 overs, she'll bat at number three. Now all of a sudden, a department is taken away for due to injuries. So how do you then look at both of these things as a coach, and what's the fine line?
So that's a very interesting question. See, I would, structure the team combination in such a way that, if a particular player is not able to contribute in one department, then, let him or her give her 100%, in the batting department. See, previously Harman used to bowl as well. So, here and there, 3, 4 overs. But now, due to, I think it's because of her shoulder injury, she's focusing only on batting. And I would also have regular, of course, the regular monitoring system would be there. The physios would be taking care of their workload. There will be constant analysis on as to when a particular player can come back and do in both departments. So also one more thing I would do is that rest that particular player for less important games. So see, if you are playing a 5 match series and you have already won the series 3-0, you are on 3-0. It doesn't matter. I want to try my bench, and I would rest that particular player to see if that can enhance their recovery. And that is one way of going about it. And the second way is, if she's not going to bowl, then I would probably pick one more specialist bowler in her place who can give me those 4 overs, or pick uh, probably one batter who can give those two, or someone like an Ellyse capsy, not a frontline bowler, but can be handy, and also one more batter just chip in with 1 over here or there. But the primary responsibility, I would play 5 frontline bowlers. If that's not going to happen, then my sixth bowler is going to be that one top order bat. But certain things, all said that and done, you cannot 100% have a foolproof system. One of your frontline bowlers can also get injured in a match, and then you have to somehow just play and compensate. So
Just to ask a follow up question, I do agree with you. Ideally, of course, you wouldn't want to completely or entirely depend on your all rounders. But what do you do when that all rounder is, say, a Marizan Cup? Sure, she's an all rounder, but she's also a frontline pacer. Like she can bat at number 11 for all we like, and she'll still make it to the side. Then how do you once again, like, she offers value with the bat, which is why you wouldn't want to push her down. But at the same time, you also know you probably need to manage her workload. Then what do you do then in such cases?
So I would first go and analyze, what exactly is hurting her. So if she is batting is causing her more strain and concern on her body, then probably I would expose her a little lower down the order, and would expose her only if it's absolutely necessary. And pick in an extra batter who can take that extra load of batting for another 10 to 15 overs. So I would go top order heavy in case she has to play. And if her bowling is the thing that is hurting her fitness, of course I would play another frontline bowler compromising another batter, because in that scenario Cup is not bowling, so she has to contribute with the bat. So that's a chat you have with your senior players before you decide the team compensation, so that they are informed, they know, they are aware of their roles and responsibilities. And also your physio and your SNC team is constantly monitoring their progress as well. So that's how I would manage.
Interesting. And Sharda, lastly, of course, we've seen, at least with men's cricket, we've seen the impact player rule come into the IPL. We've seen how that sort of curtailed the development of all rounders in some sense. Thankfully, we've not seen a similar progression so far in women's cricket. Let's hope it stays that way. But how do you see the role evolve now going forward? Like, what do you see happen to all rounders in the near term? Do you see change? Do you see it remain constant, like thinking 5, 10 years into the future?
So, when it, the T20 cricket has, taken center stage now, and, it has come to a scenario that as a player, you need to be ready to do anything at any time. So, sometimes you are sitting out in the bench, as you rightly pointed out, you are You think you're not playing that day, suddenly your team needs to score 30 runs in 2 hours, and suddenly you are asked to just pad up and get into bat. So your practice should be in such a way that you are ready to do what is required for the team at that particular stage. So if my primary skill is batting, then I have to be adept to batting at any stage. Be it if I'm a top order bat, I cannot say that I'm just an opener, I cannot finish a match. Or if you're a finisher, you cannot say that suddenly wicket falls, you have to play at number 4. So your baseline is that you have to practice, you have to be ready to face any scenario in a game based upon your strengths. So that's how I see the game evolving in the next 5 to 10 years. So also the players adapt, right? So I can give you an example. See, Ellyse Perry, we spoke a lot about her, one of the greatest all-rounders, I would say, in men's and women's cricket. So, she was more of a ODI player, right? In the initial, stages of T20 cricket, she was going more at a strike rate of 100, a sort of range. But you see her now, okay? So I feel she has, cut down a little bit on the bowling, focused a lot more on strength, working on strength for batting, and just see how her strike rate has progressed. If you take the WPL stats alone, you would know. She's batting at 135, 130, 140 pretty easily. So she has just adapted to what the game requires. So that's what the best players do. They foresee they they foresee what the team is going to be expecting of them, and if you want to stay relevant as a player, then you should not have any lapses. I would say that you foresee, and you definitely work upon it. For a bowler, it has to be, yes, you can be good with the new ball, but you should be prepared to bowl 1 over or 2 overs with the old ball as well. If you have your natural, your stock ball is outswinger, you should develop an in swinger. So you should be basically ready to do anything at any given point of time. A lot of players I see right now are also working on throwing with their left arm as well. Right handers throwing with their left arm. You see a lot of switch hits. I recently shared a video of Phoebe Litchfield, just switching and hitting a boundary straight down the ground. So that is crazy. Yeah, that's what the players should be working. They should be able to see. For the last 5 years, the game has transitioned so much, and it is not going to stop. It is going to transition further. So you have to be ready for it.
And Shada, I think this would be a last one from me. But even just right with the World Cup that's happening in India, do you really see that all rounders are going to become all the more crucial in these spin friendly conditions? Sometimes we can see the wickets get very flat in India, so massive totals being breached as well. A batter just bowling a little bit of part time off spin or like just spin might tilt the balance for the team. And a follow up again for this would be any all rounders you're looking forward to seeing this World Cup?
Yes, I think definitely all-rounders are going to play a crucial role in Team India's journey in this World Cup. Now, again, we have to just hold on and see the wickets actually before making any type of judgments. So you have to, as I said, the preparation is going to be key. So the role for each and every player. So for example, if it's raining in a match, and you have only 20 overs to play, then you have to be ready to chase. So the role definition for each player is going to be really really important. And yes, the players, rather than, I would say, the all-rounders are going to play an important role. I would say that role clarity for each and every player is going to play a crucial role in this World Cup.
There's one last question. I just it hit me when you spoke about T20s, because of course we know that T20 has sort of become the flavor of this decade in some sense, and that will in all likelihood be the future. So what about Test cricket then? Like, on the one hand, we want to see more women's Test cricket, but that would then mean all rounders having to bear a big, have to bearing the brunt of that workload and everything, which would potentially mean a downward trend over there. So once again, which way are you on? Do you want to see more women's cricket, women's test cricket, if it's coming at the cost of, all-rounders developing?
See, I think definitely yes. I would love to see the women playing a lot more tests. I think they are playing a test next year, and one later this year in Perth as well. I think it's in December. So by the time we get to playing at least 5 to 6 tests a year, then we would definitely be able to form specialist cricketers, like how the men's team has. They have a specific set of cricketers for white ball and red ball. So I think the women's team now it's a little premature because the red ball, matches are very very less. But now right now the format is also coming up. Multi-day is coming up in domestic cricket. So hopefully by the time the number of tests increases, we will have a specific set of players for red ball cricket and a specific set for white ball.
All right, fair enough. And on that note, I guess it is time for us to wrap this episode of the Men's Cricket Podcast. Thank you so much, Sharadha, for being a wonderful guest. We've genuinely had a lot of fun, just gaining insights from you and talking with you. And any final words? And of course, guys, please also do follow Sharadha on Instagram as well. We will have all the links and everything shared in the description. Please do give her a check and follow.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, Akshay and Neha. It has been, wonderful talking to you guys. Just the questions that you had were very, very insightful and just thought provoking. So hopefully, the people listening to it will have fun. Thank you so much once again.
Thank you so much. And guys, like always, stay tuned every Saturday.